And what I started to recognize is that everything is contradicting everything else. It seems like God, on one hand, is saying one thing, and on the other hand, someone else is saying something exactly the opposite. And that can't happen. That's just, well, it's obviously happened, which would also, by extension, mean that God has done it. For whatever reason, God has done this. That's how profound it is. So that's why this is not about blaming, right? It's like, what is God doing here? And what's his agenda? But maybe that's another conversation for another time. So, my dear friends, and hopefully the governing body will get wind of some of these videos that I'm trying to make. I remember the one talk by, I forget what his name was, Cafe Mocha. Right? Remember that video? Some of you will, if you listen to the videos. I enjoyed the videos, especially the talks. I always enjoyed the talks. But this is a secondary thought. I don't know if... Well, never mind. I won't go. We'll save it for another time. But I'd just like to encourage you, brothers and sisters, to take a second look at what you think you know. Because if a dummy like me can find all these contradictions, then something's wrong. And why are what's going on? But anyway, I think what I'll do is I'll stop it for now, and we'll pick it up in another video. I'll try to come up with another conversation. Again, just know, faithful and discreet slave, a loving shepherd must have the ability to openly and objectively look and listen when something comes to them that's presented fairly, openly, and sincerely. And if a loving shepherd has to take those things into consideration. So if I pull out of here, if I wanted to say anything to the governing body, it is that everyone alive today is not yours. They're God's. And God is going to do with them what he's going to do with them in the time that he so chooses to do it. And you have a wonderful opportunity to position yourself to make desperately needed changes. And it's perhaps you're not aware of what it might be. Just all the witnesses that I've ever known are just particularly gnarly. But I assure you that it is absolutely impossible to talk to anyone about anything. It's like every one of those brothers and sisters is literally hanging on to every word that you say, to the point that if someone says anything, no matter how correct it might be, they just become reject monsters. They become, all on the back of where I've heard you openly say that you don't tell anybody what to think. But do you know that you're making a million, what is it? What, 8 million, 9 million witnesses? And every Jehovah's Witness thinks exactly like the other Jehovah's Witness next to them. So it might be that maybe that's not even your intention. But I can't talk to my wife. I can't talk to my father. I can't talk to, after 60 years of having brothers and sisters for friends, I can't talk to any of them. They won't talk to me. Now, what, just because of analyzing a word in the Bible, just one, we haven't even got into all the stuff, just any point, whatever it is. And it's not like these aren't legitimate things, right? So what is that? What is this absolute rejection of what another person says? That's on a whole nother level. Did God intend all humankind to be clones of one another? Anyway, so I think it's time to start looking more deeply. I don't think any of the brothers and sisters are going to run off. This has nothing to do with leaving the body, if you want to call it that. But if you don't tell them, and they start figuring it out, which God is going to do, right? In the last days, He's going to pour His Spirit out on everyone and everything, and they'll prophesy, and they'll do this, and they'll do that, right? Telling the brotherhood that in the last days, false prophets will be everywhere, is not strong enough, because God, in what He's got going on, is going to get to all of those brothers and sisters. He's going to start revealing things to them, and at a certain point, they're going to feel betrayed, and then that's not going to help. Well, they might. I know I struggled with that a little bit. I started, a little bit of resentment, but though I don't want to harbor it, because that's the idea, right? You have to, whatever God's doing, because the very thing I just said applies to you and everything else. So that's what I mean. You're not supposed to harbor any sort of resentment or judgment. This isn't about judgment and fault finding per se, but it is about truth and trying to be absolutely correct. So I, as a witness, was always taught that, do the utmost best for God, right? You did that. You put that in me. If you're going to build a house, I used to work with an elder every day. We'd go work. We talked about it all the time. Even no matter what we did, we treated every job as if that house was God's house. And we were working on that house. And we did the best work that we could. I have so much to thank you for. But, as I know you're aware of, new scrolls, new name, and this stuff is starting to happen. Have you noticed how the Jewish people are beginning to be quite active throughout the world? They don't even evangelize. And they have quite a bit to say. But of course, they have also a very long history. It's a very complex people. And all of the various protection mechanisms that you put into the brother and sisterhood makes sense, I understand. But to the point But the problem is it's to the point of detriment. Now, it's time to open it up and start really teaching them. Anyway, that would be my advice to you, because you don't want to end up where the nations are going to say, I think it's in Jeremiah, that we've inherited worthless information, lies. What's that going to be about? Is that going to be that, somebody didn't vote for Donald Trump? What's that scripture all about? Where the nations, in a plural, didn't say the Jewish nation, a singular. It said the nations are going to say, we've inherited lies. Our forefathers have lied to us. And then it goes on to say that 10 men from every nation will grab onto the coattail of a Jew. And they'll say, for we have heard God is with you. Now that's going to happen. That's clear scripture. And out of everything you did for me, I'm now returning that favor back to you, governing body. That if it's time to put these differences aside, and you need to reach out to the Jewish people, and they're coming along too, which you also know would happen in this time. Israel would be restored. Let me just stop there. But this is not criticism at all. I want you to know that. I'm not criticizing you, because I want what's best for you guys. I really do. All right. So, all my ex-brothers and sisters, I love you. Hopefully things will open up for you and you'll begin to see even deeper. Okay. You take care now. We'll get you another clip out as soon as I can get her done.